Hi, my name is Mike. I am head of product marketing at my news desk, and I'll be talking about distribution. In the first two modules, we spoke about the new rules of PR, as well as the special role of influencers in the new media landscape. In this module, we will dive into content distribution. Before the rise of digital media, distributing stories was a matter of pitching the right people, typically journalists, with an effective message. The desired outcome was a mention in the press or media byline. With the rise of social media and the decline of print media, however, the places where people gather information has changed dramatically, particularly for younger consumers. Consider a report from the Reuters Institute last year, which showed the rapid rise of online sources and social media for news gathering. While printed newspapers dropped dramatically and TV plateaued, social media rose aggressively. And younger consumers are much more likely to find their news online and through social media than their older counterparts, who still prefer television. How do you get started with content distribution? It's not as easy as hitting publish. We won't dive into the complexity of why this is true, as we'll soon put you to sleep talking about algorithms and social graphs, but it boils down to this: permission. People must follow you before they see your content. In other words, they must give you permission to send them information or articles. Influence. Even with permission, your content won't always be seen. Networks like Facebook decide who will see what content, and it's based on how influential and authoritative your company and content is. Publish great content on a regular basis, and you'll be rewarded. Publish information that no one is interested in, and your content will sink even lower into the trough. What we're trying to say is, human outreach is still a critical part of distributing your content, but just as important, if not more important, is understanding the science of content amplification. Think of this as a way to add fuel to your publishing efforts. Content amplification describes all the ways in which you distribute your stories and optimize the numbers you reach with those stories. It is the new media word for promotion, but in this case, you're not promoting your brand, you're promoting your content. Before we talk about the science of amplification, let's review the PESA model, something PR professionals use to sum up the various ways to develop relationships with stakeholders. Paid media is a way of juicing the results you get through your other channels. Highly targeted paid digital campaigns help you scale your efforts, reaching an even larger audience than you could with earned, owned, or shared media. Earned media. What was once media relations is now influencer relationships. Journalists are still part of the mix, but other savvy content creators and public figures are influencers in their own right, and accessing these individuals to help build relationships and share your message is key. Shared media. In addition to parking your content on your own website, you need to push it out into the world so others can find it. Social channels include the biggest and most well-known, for example, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest. But for every business and industry, there are dozens of specialized social channels that fit the audience. Stack Overflow, for example, is a question and answer website for programmers and is among the most highly regarded social networks for developers and software engineer talent. Email is yet another way to promote your content, not your company. Emails should be well designed with plenty of images, short blurbs to describe the stories you're promoting, and links to read the full articles. Most importantly of all, emails should be highly targeted, something you can achieve with a well-segmented list. Don't send everything to everyone. It's the fastest way to get your audience to unsubscribe from your messages. Search are the tactics you use to maximize the chances that your target audience sees the stories you publish. Owned media. In PR, owned media was once considered press releases. Now it's all the multimedia assets you use to tell stories and the owned platforms, like your website, where you share those assets. Through these channels, you won't be promoting your company. You'll be promoting your content. Let's repeat that, as it can't be overemphasized. As a PR professional, you must now think less like a promoter and more like a storyteller. You're going to reach your audience, be it journalists, influencers, or consumers, by publishing interesting stories, not with self-promotion. And beware, if you publish only self-serving content or low-quality content no one wants to read, not only will you alienate your audience, but your social networks will punish you by essentially making your content invisible to others. Let's talk about how it's done. Choose your social channels. Which channel should you consider based on your objectives? One shortcut for finding this out is to find out where important influencers in your industry publish. Facebook is typically an anchor network for B2C companies, and LinkedIn for B2B companies. But in truth, the right portfolio of channels should be decided by your industry, the demographic you serve, and your budget. Customize for each channel. The type of content you publish on Facebook differs from what you publish on LinkedIn, which differs from that which engages on Instagram and Pinterest. Find out what's the best format and style for each channel. Hint, on Facebook, content is usually more personal and friendly, while LinkedIn content is more professional in nature. Don't forget that no matter the channel, use imagery to make sure your post is seen. Finally, the key word for all these channels is social. Use them not only to publish content, but to interact with customers, prospects, influencers, and other stakeholders. Use the 70-30 rule. For every 7 pieces of content you publish on social media, share at least 3 belonging to others. Scale slowly. There is sometimes an impulse to join as many social networks as possible and engage on each. Decide what your team can handle and then join no more than that number. Better to grow in a sustainable way than open a channel and let it go silent. Rethink email promotion. While some companies are straying from email, it's still a critical channel, if only because it's one of the few channels you own. Social networks are excellent places to reach others, but you're at the mercy of the algorithm gods when publishing on social sites. Email opt-in lists are yours. As long as you treat subscribers well, share useful information, and keep them happy, you're in charge of the flow of information. Use native advertising to add fuel. Think of native advertising as a way to promote your content rather than your company. As such, native advertising is an excellent option to help optimize your publishing efforts. Whether through social media or digital media, it's still not as common among PR firms as the tactic merits. 1. Getting your content out into the digital and social world isn't as simple as pushing publish on your newsroom platform. 2. You must still earn attention. On social media networks, for example, you'll be penalized by the algorithms for publishing content that no one likes, and rewarded for publishing content that's popular and shared often. It pays to behave well and produce consistently good content. 3. Pick your channels. The big social media networks are an obvious choice, but there may be niche networks and sites that offer the specialized audience you're looking for. In short, find the right mix of channels for your business. 4. Make it sustainable. Only invest in as many channels as you can reasonably manage and measure. 5. Customize. Each channel demands its own style and format. Some are more visual, others more formal. Make sure you know the rules of play for each channel, ensuring you build your following more efficiently.